Hello, everyone. My name is Emily Traister, and I am here today with Dan Dalton, one of the founders of Dalton and Tomich. Dan has helped a number of churches leave the denomination and keep their property.
Hi, Emily. Great to see you.
Good to see you too, Dan. So the Council of Bishops announced that there would not be an in-person general conference this year, but they will hold a virtual general conference on May 8th of 2021. However, this virtual general conference will only address budgetary concerns of the denomination. What does this mean for the proposed separation protocol?
Quite frankly, there will be no vote on the separation protocol in 2021. In all likelihood, there probably won't be a vote on it until 2024. There was an announcement that there will be a general conference scheduled for 2022, but in reality, it just doesn't look like that's going to happen.
If the United Methodist Church is having a virtual general conference in a few months, why not vote on the separation protocol?
It's really quite simple. The game plan of the Council of Bishops is just to run out the clock. They know that the longer you get away from the separation protocol, the more likely it will not pass. And they also know that by waiting this much longer, churches will leave. And the hope is that by the time there is a general conference and there is a vote on the separation protocol, that it won't pass because there won't be the churches who are supporting it. They will no longer be part of the denomination. That's really what's going on today.
Is this simply a scheduling issue due to COVID?
No, this really has nothing to do to cope with COVID. And even their announcement will demonstrate why. They've announced a virtual general conference on May 8th of 2021, and they're going to have a vote on budgeting issues at that time. There is no reason whatsoever why they couldn't vote on the separation protocol on that date. Just a straight up or down vote. It's all that's needed. And then they can work out the details later. The annual conference delegates still could add this to the agenda under the United Methodist Constitution. If 2/3 of the annual conference vote to amend the agenda to add the separation protocol to it, they can do it. But the Council of Bishops know there's just not the enough votes at this point to do that. And they're just trying to run out the clock. That's what's happening.
What happens to a local Methodist church if they do nothing?
Well, there's 4 real significant risks that will occur if you do nothing. The first one is people will leave your church. Your local churches are probably experiencing that right now. At least that's what we're seeing with a number of our clients. When they find that the United Methodist denomination is in schism, and they see that their local church is doing no ministry, they're really doing nothing for the local community, they're really doing nothing for the world at large, they're just kind of fighting among themselves. And so people don't really want to be a part of that particular problem. So they're leaving the denomination. And we've seen that in droves. 7 million people have left in the United States alone since 1968. One thing we have seen, though, is churches that have gone independent have actually grown. They know people are going to these independent churches because they see that they're actually doing ministry in the community. They're doing things around the world. They're helping missions out. So people will leave your church if you do nothing. The second risk is that apportionments will increase. Just this past year, donations are down 43% according to the United Methodist News. Now, some of that, of course, is due to COVID, but really, there has been a dramatic decline in giving over the last decade or two. The Council of Bishops have put out a notice that their Episcopal fund, which is the fund that pays the bishop, is almost running dry. In fact, it'll empty out next year. There's a number of the conferences and committees that are just running out of funds. So it's not a matter of if they're going to raise your apportionments. The question is how much it's going to be raised. So your apportionments are really going to increase in the next couple of years. The third thing is that the cost of leaving will increase. So if you're just thinking about leaving right now to become an independent church, a lot of these churches that are leaving right now are kind of setting the baseline. We see, for example, a dramatic request of conferences on local churches to leave, and we've negotiated those conferences numbers down significantly over time. So what we're seeing is that the first ones out pay the less, or pay the least, I should say. And moving forward, the next couple churches are just going to pay just a little bit more because the conference's only source of income is the local church right now. They sold out after everything else that they have, so there really isn't anything left other than the local church. But here's your biggest risk, and that's the risk of losing your property. This is a real risk. And when the separation protocol was announced, the Council of Bishops agreed that they wouldn't close any local churches, sell their property, and clean out their bank accounts. But they've done exactly the opposite. Hundreds of churches across the United States have been closed. Parsonages have been taken. Property has been disposed of. Bank accounts have been cleaned out simply because that is the local bishops and their annual conferences are out of money. And they know that they're the only source of getting more money. If you are an older congregation and the average age is older, you're an older pastor that is ready to retire, your land is debt-free, you're sitting on a healthy bank account and a healthy endowment, and you have valuable land, you now have a giant target on your back right now, where the conference is looking at your property to close your property, sell your assets, and fill up their empty coffers. So if you really want to take steps right now to preserve your ministry and preserve your property, you have to do it. Now's the time for courageous leaders. We need those leaders that are going to step up in local churches and are really going to take a hard look at what they have and where they want to be as a ministry in the future. And if you want to protect your ministry and preserve your property, you got to take those steps right now.
As always, thank you for your insight, Dan. If you're watching this video and you have any questions or we could be of any service to you, please feel free to give our office a call or send us an email. Thank you.